This is Timothy Duracore, and here's my automated plant watering system. So here's the setup with the OLED display and the battery, the MOSFET board, the pump, and then the sensor here. For the first learning outcome, to verify that my system worked, I just simulated the environment by having the sensor in some water, and then I could test if it pumped on properly. And I also added a button to disable the system to make sure the pump doesn't turn on, but the rest stays working, so I can see when the screen should update or not. So now that it shows that the soil is dry and the pump is off, and I can now turn on the system. And as you can see, it'll start watering. And I'll stop watering. Soil is moist. For the second learning outcome, we used Formata4j for the project, which allows the connection between the board and the Java program. And these classes, they allow us to connect to the board, get the pins, and then even add the event listener. And for standard draw, Princeton standard draw, this allows the whole canvas to be shown, add text, add points, lines, and all that. So for the third learning outcome of the project, I used a hash map with the key being a long and the value being a double, because here I use the current time milliseconds of the system for the key, and then the value being the sensor voltage. And this is because with the key being the time in milliseconds, we can plot each point relative to the time the plot started. So for the fourth learning outcome, the event-based state machine happens on pin change, and I'll first determine if the sensor voltage is above the threshold of the voltage of when to water, and then if the pump is not already turned on, and it'll check if the system can be turned on after the delay is finished, and then it'll turn on the pump. But otherwise, it'll detect that the soil is moist enough, and it'll just turn off the pump, or just make sure it's already turned off. For the fifth learning outcome, an example of how my project changed over time was that I had way too many points here that would delay the plotting of the graph, so I added an interval between them. And I also used object-oriented programming concepts such as modularity for separating classes and using different methods and classes.